Today we are talking all things read alouds. This is our review of our favorite and least favorite read alouds from the second half of the 2025-2026 school year. I have asked my children which ones they liked, which ones they didn't like, and I am going to give you their feedback. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Jocelyn. We just finished our first year of homeschooling, which was the 2025-2026 school year. And I am going over what we enjoyed reading and what we didn't enjoy so much. We do our read alouds before bed. I really try this year to get about 3 books per term. We do 6 week terms. And for the most part, we stuck to that schedule. I did ask, once we finished our last book, I asked my kids to line up the books from favorite to least favorite, and then I assigned it a number system, and I'm going to give you that rating. I'll put it down here on the bottom of the screen, but let's go ahead and jump right into what we liked and what we didn't like. I am going to mention that for the second half of the school year, what we brought in to document our read alouds, I did notice at the first half of the year, the kids kind of had a hard time remembering the books that we read. So I had them do these little reading journals. These are like, I would say 5 by 3.5 notebook, blank notebooks from Mr. Penn. And they just drew pictures of their favorite and least favorite or least favorite part from the book. And then I just glued, you can see here, I just glued the little book up top so they could remember it. So these were a big hit. We'll link everything down below, but these were a big hit. All right, so we're gonna start at the least favorite, and that was Juana and Lucas. Now, this was a really cute story of Juana and her dog Lucas, and she talks about her journey learning the English in her school and how she doesn't want to do it. Then at the end, she finds out she's going to an adventure park in America where they speak the English, so she is motivated to learn. This does have, it's in English, but it does have different words in Spanish throughout, which we are learning Spanish in our homeschool, so I thought the kids would enjoy. While we were reading it, I thought the kids liked it, but I just think that they really couldn't relate to the story, which is why it ended up at the bottom. But I thought it was cute. All right, next up we have, I don't have this copy here because we actually read this while we were in Ohio, so I checked it out from the library, and that was Paddington Bear. So I don't know what it is about animal stories, specifically stories about animal, like bears. The kids just don't enjoy it. It was the same with Winnie the Pooh. They just couldn't get into it. So it was a cute story. It's a story about Paddington, a bear from darkest Peru that ends up in London, and it talks about all his misadventures and silly stories of his time with this family in London. I thought it was fun, but the kids they just apparently didn't like it. We did end up watching the movies afterward, which kind of didn't match up with the book, but yeah, I don't know what it is about bear stories, but the kids just didn't love it. It is a cute story though, in my opinion. All right, so next up we have the Boxcar Children. Boxcar Children is a classic story of brothers and sisters that are running from their grandpa. They are orphans running from their grandpa. They think their grandpa is a mean man, and they're running, and they find this boxcar to live in the woods, and it's just their story of surviving in the woods. It's a classic. I thought that the kids enjoyed it while we read it, but they didn't, when I asked if they wanted to continue on in the series, they said no. So, okay. Next up we have Mouse and the Motorcycle. Now, this is a little bit of a misrepresentation because this was actually my son's favorite book, but it was my daughter's least favorite book. So we had to meet in the middle, The Mouse and the Motorcycle. This is a really cute story of the mouse that lives in a hotel, and a little boy comes in with his toy motorcycle, and he learns to ride the motorcycle and go on adventures, and it's a fun story. My son loves anything cars, motorcycles, so it's no surprise that this was his favorite. Now, the reason, and I'm going to show you my daughter's reading journal, the reason that my daughter did not like this book at all was because it was not realistic. I mean, all these other stories apparently are realistic, but The Mouse and the Motorcycle was not. So the reason that she doesn't like The Mouse and the Motorcycle, you can see by her very extravagant drawing here, Why does the motorcycle drive just by saying the sirens? So the mouse, in order to get the motorcycle to go, has to make the motorcycle sound. So it goes vroom, 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 vroom. And every time I did that in the story, my daughter rolled her eyes. Mommy, that is not how a motorcycle goes. So that is why she did not like the mouse and the motorcycle. So cute story. My son loved it. My daughter, it just wasn't realistic enough for her. Coming in at number 4 on the list is The Trumpet of the Swan. This was a very cute story, another classic. My kids actually, when this was over, were very disappointed that it was over. They did not want the story to end. This is the story of a trumpeter swan that has no voice. And this little boy here, Sam, he helps him throughout his life. And yeah, it's just a really cute story of him finding his he gets a trumpet, he learns how to read and write, and it just talks about his adventures in finding his voice, basically. Yeah, my kids they really, really enjoyed the story, and again, they were disappointed when it ended. So this was a definite hit in our read aloud schedule. All right, next up, we have The Number One Car Spotter. This is a little boy in Nigeria. It is a really, really great story of the number one car spotter. They call him number one. This is a nice story that represents market life community and the African community. He can spot cars, he knows cars, and his family, their what is it called? Their cart breaks in order to get to market to do their sales. And he comes up with a solution, and it just talks about his daily adventure. Both of my kids like this, which I'm really glad, because this Atanuke is a Nigerian author, and she does Anna Hibiscus, and she does Two Small Tola. She does a number of other picture books, and we have a number of those lined up for next year. There's other books in this series, which I plan on bringing in for my son in the future when he is reading on his own, because he especially really loved this, which I'm not surprised about. But this was a hit. All right, so for the top 2, both of them are by the same author. So I guess the weird stories are a big hit in our household. For the number 2 on our list, we have James and the Giant Peach. This was a very fun story of a little boy who has really mean aunts, and the man comes out of the bushes and gives him magical stones, and he accidentally drops the stones by a peach tree, and the peach grows and grows and grows and grows, and the bugs around it are inside the peach now. And so it talks about their adventure of this giant peach. It has a couple pictures in here, but this is a really, really old beat up copy, but this was a really fun story. My kids thoroughly enjoyed it, and we are going to definitely have to bring in more stories by Roald Dahl. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but next year. And last up, we have the number 1 read aloud for the year was the BFG. Again, we read this. I got it from the library when we were in Ohio. This was just such a fun story to read. This is the first time, I think, in our read alouds that both of my kids, as soon as I started reading it, both of them were sitting down, paying attention, and just waiting to see what happens next. This is the story of the big friendly giant and a little girl that he takes from London when she sees him. And then they go back, and it is their journey on bringing down all of the big, mean, old giants that exist. He's the only friendly giant. All the other ones are bad. So it is their journey saving the world from the big, mean giants. My daughter's drawing in her book was really special. The BFG drinking Frobscottle to Whiz Popper. If you don't know what Whiz Poppering is, it is now a term in our household, but I'm not going to spoil that for you. You're going to have to read it to find out. But yeah, it was just a really, really fun book to read, and I guarantee you we will bring it again in the future to reread and enjoy again. We did watch the TV shows, and I think there's the TV shows and then there's movies. I'm not sure. But we watched a couple movies, BFG movies, and the kids really enjoyed it as well. All right, so that is it. I will be coming out with our read aloud schedule for the 2026-2027 school year soon. That list is finalized, so I am looking forward to sharing that with you. I'm going to link everything down below of all the books we read and the reading journals. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.